Welcome to the Bootstrap Mogul Podcast, where we bring you the grassroots tips, tricks, and stories in everything entrepreneurship, digital marketing, and personal development. I'm your host, Andres Holguin. Hello, my wonderful friends, and welcome back to another episode of the Bootstrap Mogul Podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, you are in for a treat. Now, I want to take a moment to say a heartfelt thank you to each and every one of you for pressing that play button today. Your time is precious, and the fact that you're choosing to spend a few moments of your day with me, well, that makes me feel pretty special, and I do not take it for granted. For those of you who are new here, I am Andres Holguin, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be your guide on this business building journey. And we have a fantastic topic lined up for you today. We are diving into 5 steps to building a profitable offer for your business. Yep, we're pulling back the curtain and laying it all out step by step. This is an episode you do not want to miss. So here's what's on the menu for today. We're going to start off by talking about the importance of identifying your target audience. Next, we'll get into understanding your audience's pain points. Then, we'll dive into crafting that irresistible offer. And fourth, don't forget validation. We will cover how to validate your offer. And then finally, we'll explore the strategy for effectively marketing and launching your offer. Now, by the end of this episode, you will have a solid blueprint for creating an offer that not only resonates with your audience, but also brings in the moolah. Yep, I'm talking about profitability. Now, before we dive into step 1, I want to share a little story with you. Now, a couple years ago when I was just starting out, I launched an offer that I thought was gold. I was convinced this was a solution to world peace, or at least maybe small business struggles. But guess what? It was a total flop. I couldn't figure out why until I went back to the drawing board and really dissected each part of my offer. And that's when it hit me. My offer wasn't aligned with my target audience and what they truly wanted and needed. It was a humbling experience to say the least, but it was also a game changer. So I buckled down, got super clear about my target audience, and revamped my offer. And you know what? It took off like a rocket ship. So why am I sharing this with you? Well, because crafting a profitable offer can change the trajectory of your business. It did for me, and I know it can for you too. So grab your favorite notebook and pen or open up those note-taking apps because you're going to want to jot down these nuggets of wisdom as we jump into the first step, identifying your target audience. Okay, my friends, we're diving into the first big step, which is identifying your target audience. Now, you may be thinking, come on, Andres, I've heard this 1,000 times. But let me be super clear. If you skip this step or skim over it, you're basically playing a high-stakes game of business roulette. Knowing your target audience is not a nice to have, it's a must-have. Trust me, your offer can be as shiny and attractive as a diamond, but if it's not what your audience is searching for, it won't sell, period. Let me share a solid example with you about this one businesswoman. Let's call her Jane to drive this home. So Jane had an amazing idea for a course on personal finance. She spent months developing content, hiring a graphic designer for the aesthetics, and even investing in advertising. But the sales were crickets. Tumbleweeds blowing across the screen. Now, when you look at what went wrong, it was clear as day. Jane had skipped the step of identifying her target audience. She had created a course she thought was amazing without ever stopping to ask who specifically needs this and what do they really want. And the result was a fantastic course that no one bought. So how do you get clear on your target audience? Well, lucky for you, I've got some tried and true steps. Firstly, market research. I know it sounds kind of dry and academic, and I also felt the same when I first started in business, but I promise it can be fun. So spend time hanging out where your audience hangs out. Join Facebook groups, follow hashtags on Instagram, or read blogs that attract the people you want to serve. Listen to their conversations, see what problems they're talking about, what questions they are asking. You will get a ton of insights this way. Secondly, if you already have customers, even if it's just a few, please don't forget to survey them. A simple questionnaire can be super revealing, and so you want to ask them what they love about your product or service, what could be improved, and what other needs or challenges they have. The gold is often in the details, my friend. All right, so before we move on to the next juicy step in building your offer, your action item for this week is to get crystal clear on your target audience. Write down specific demographics, behaviors, and needs. Go beyond the surface. We're talking about more than just age and location here. You want to dive into their desires, their fears, their aspirations. Get specific and get detailed. Don't rush this process because everything else we'll be discussing rests on this foundation. So, are you committed? I sure hope so, because this is the groundwork for the amazing, profitable offer that you're going to create. All right, friends, so we're moving on to step number 2, which is all about understanding your audience's pain points. Now, if step 1 is setting your GPS, then step 2 is making sure there's gas in the car. You can't get far without it. You see, people aren't just looking for another product or service. They're looking for solutions to real pressing problems. Knowing what keeps your audience up at night gives you the unique power to show up like a knight in shining armor, offering not just a product, but a lifeline. So, how do we get inside the heads of our target audience? Well, I'm so glad you asked. First off, online forums are a goldmine. Whether it's Reddit threads or niche community boards, people are pretty candid when they're behind a screen. These forums can give you unfiltered access to what's bothering your audience. Next, if you can arrange customer interviews, go for it. Sometimes a direct conversation can reveal more than a survey. So these interviews, they don't have to be formal. Even like a quick coffee chat can yield invaluable insights. And don't forget social media listening. This is when you monitor social media channels for mentions of your brand, your competitors, or anything that's relevant to your business. But don't just stalk, interact. Ask questions, run polls, get people chatting, because you'll be surprised about how much you can actually learn. Now, let me take you back to when I was just fine-tuning my business. And I will say this is an ongoing effort. But I thought I had a killer offer, a business coaching package that covered everything from marketing to hiring. It was a ton of information. But guess what? Sales were dismal. So I put on my detective hat and I started hanging out in entrepreneur Facebook groups and reading the comments on Instagram posts. And I found my aha moment. Most people were not overwhelmed by a lack of business knowledge. They were overwhelmed by too much of it. They didn't want another all-encompassing package. They wanted targeted solutions to specific problems. So I went back to the drawing board and recrafted my offer to focus solely on helping people scale their businesses. So zero fluff, just focused, actionable steps. So before we shift into the next gear, your action item is this. Think about a significant pain point your product or service could solve. Sketch it out, ponder it, get specific. Remember, your offer should be a pain reliever in a world full of headaches. So, are you ready for step number 3? I sure hope so, because this one's a doozy, crafting your offer. Now, when it comes to crafting an offer, the best place to start is the end. Yes, you heard me right. The end result your customer is going to experience. Will they double their revenue? Will they finally get those 6-pack abs? Whatever it is, your offer should spell out that promise loud and clear. So think of it as a movie trailer for a blockbuster film. You've got to show the audience the dramatic, awe-inspiring climax right at the start to hook them in. So let's move on to packaging and presentation. Guys, let's not underestimate the power of a good unboxing experience, even if it's digital. So for digital products, this could be a beautifully designed PDF, an engaging video series, or even a dashboard that's user-friendly. Good design isn't vanity. It's all about communicating your product's value at first glance. Now, if you're selling physical goods, investing in packaging that makes people feel like they're unwrapping a gift, trust me, the Instagram unboxing videos will soon follow. Next up, your pricing strategy. Pricing isn't just about covering your costs and making a profit. It's also about positioning. Are you the luxury option, the budget-friendly choice, or somewhere in between? Your price should reflect not just the value of the goods or services, but also the perception of value that you want to convey. So here's a little more story time. When I was figuring out my consulting coaching services, I was entering a market that was pretty saturated. I mean, business coaches are a dime a dozen, right? But here's what I did differently. I crafted an offer that went beyond just business coaching and promised to turn side hustles into main hustles. And you can bet that that got people's attention. And you know what? It positioned me as someone who not only talks the talk, but walks the walk. So are you ready for your homework for this step? Your action item this week is to draft a 1-sentence description of your offer, focusing on the end result for the customer. This one sentence will become the North Star of your entire offer, guiding everything from your marketing messages to your sales conversations. So we're steaming ahead to step number 4, and this one is a biggie: validating your offer. Now you might be thinking, I've done my research, crafted this offer, this awesome offer. Why do I need to validate it? Well, trust me, skipping this step is like throwing money down the drain, my friends. Until you've tested your offer in the real world, all you have are educated guesses. And last time I checked, nobody wants to base their business on a guess. All right, so how do we go about validating? Well, first up, we have beta testing. If you have a digital product or a new service, consider offering it for free or at a discount to a select few in exchange for honest feedback. This way, you can fix any hiccups before they become full-blown problems. Next, think about running limited time promotions. This can be flash sales or special bundles. Keep an eye on how many people take you up on the offer and what they're saying about it. This will give you critical insights into whether your offer is hitting the mark. And then there's pre-sales, the ultimate show of trust from your potential customers. If you can convince people to pay you before your product or service is even out, you are definitely onto something. Now let me take you on a quick trip down memory lane. A few years ago, I was all set to launch an online course about social media. The slides were ready, the marketing emails were drafted, the excitement was palpable. But then I decided to do a small beta test. And thank goodness I did, because it turned out that what my audience really wanted was not broader knowledge of all platforms, but deep actionable insights into just one or two: Facebook and Instagram. Had I not validated the course, it would have been a disaster. I would have spent months marketing something that didn't fully serve my audience. And validation isn't just a safety net, it's your business's best friend. So before you go all in on your offer, I challenge you to validate it. Whether it's a beta test, a limited time promotion, or pre-sales, take that step. Validation will not only give you peace of mind, but also invaluable insights that can set you up for long-term success. So we've journeyed together through steps 1 to 4, and now it's time for the cherry on top. Step 5, market and launch. Oh, I can feel the electricity in the air, can't you? So let's dive right in. First things first, you've got to build anticipation. This is where you get to have a little bit of fun. Think of it like throwing a party. You wouldn't just open your doors and hope people show up, right? You would send out invites, maybe tease them a little about the epic playlist or the mouth-watering appetizers that you are preparing. Start with a bang using email marketing. So send out a series of emails that tease your offer, tell a story, and ultimately make that offer too good to refuse. And remember, in each email, offer value. Don't just sell. Give them a reason to open your emails, and they'll give you a reason to smile when those sales start rolling in. Now, if you're thinking about email marketing and you're like, well, who do I email to? This is the part where you start to build a list. And we'll talk a little bit about that in another episode. Then there are social media teasers. Use your platforms to drop little breadcrumbs about your offer. Maybe behind the scenes look or a quick tip that'll be expanded upon in your product. You're just whetting the appetite here. The goal is to get them hungry for what you're about to serve up. Next up, let's talk about the unsung hero of any successful launch: a launch calendar. Plan out every email, every social media post, every partnership announcement. Because when you have a plan, you can execute with confidence and precision, making adjustments as needed. Trust me, you will thank me later for this tip. Now, don't overlook the power of collaborations and partnerships, because teaming up with someone whose audience aligns with yours can provide a huge surge in visibility and credibility. It's like getting a vouch from someone from your audience already knows and trusts. So when I launched my first big course, I teamed up with a couple of fellow entrepreneurs who served a similar audience. We cross-promoted each other, and even offered exclusive bonuses to our audiences. And you won't believe the impact that it had. Our sales were amazing compared to what we projected doing it alone. So collaborations can make your good launch great and your great launch phenomenal. So are you feeling pumped? I really hope so, because your action this week is to sketch out your launch plan. Note down every marketing activity, every email you'll send, and every social post you'll make. Organize it in a clear calendar format, and voila, you're ready to execute. So, all right, my fabulous go-getters, here we are at the end of this transformative episode. I know we've covered a lot today, so let's take a quick jog down memory lane. First, identify your target audience. You can't hit a target you can't see, right? Second, understand your audience's pain points. Solving problems is the first track to your customer's heart. Third, craft the offer. Presentation is everything, and pricing is its sidekick. 4, validate the offer. Don't just leap, look where you're going first. And 5, market and launch. This is your moment in the spotlight, so make sure that you shine. Now, I want to leave you with this final thought. Creating a profitable offer isn't a secret art or a stroke of luck. It's the result of putting in the work, being attuned to your audience, and delivering real value. And so whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur or a newbie just starting your journey, trust me, if you put in the work, the results will follow. Now, if you're ready for some action steps to bring this all to life, I want to invite you to take the free 5-day offer creation challenge. It's 5 days of deep diving into each of these steps to help you flesh out a killer offer. Just head on over to www.andresdoesbusiness.com/challenge to sign up. Again, that's www.andresdoesbusiness.com/challenge. Now, trust me, you don't want to miss this. Now, before I sign off, I just want to say a huge thank you for tuning in today. Your time is valuable, and the fact that you've spent some of it with me is a big deal. If this episode helped you, please consider subscribing, sharing it with your friends, and maybe even leaving a review, because every bit of love helps us grow this community of amazing entrepreneurial spirits just like you. And there it is, the big wrap up. I'm so excited to see where these steps will take you. Remember, the road to success is always under construction. There are going to be detours and roadblocks, but with the dedication and these 5 steps, you will be well on your way. Until next time, keep dreaming big and doing bigger.